Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. You are catching me fresh-faced and post-run, so excuse the cherry tomato face if anyone can relate to that after exercise or runs. I just get so red, but it is what it is today. And I really want to make this video because I think it will provide some really good guidance for, I talk a lot about like, okay, you need to focus on strength training, you need to focus on progressive overload, but like, what does that mean for you, the viewer sitting on the other side of the camera, depending on your goals? And I'm gonna just hop right into it and let you know that we are talking about how to build your own training split and a workout split that works for you, that's functional for your lifestyle and your specific goals that you're in. So let's hop right into the video and get to the basics. First things first, before you even go into creating your workout split, you need to determine what it is that you want to achieve. Sometimes you're going to be in a phase of life where maybe you're focused on fat loss, maybe some body recomposition, and this is where you really want to prioritize strength training. So ideally 3 to 4 times per week with a mix of compound movements to preserve that muscle, and then moderate intensity cardio about 1 to 2 times per week, but making sure your step count is up on a daily basis and you're moving to enhance the fat loss effect without going into an extreme deficit or restriction, and really focusing on fueling your body in the process. You want to focus on progressive overload in your training while maintaining a small calorie deficit is basically what fat loss or that body recomposition comes down to. If your goal is muscle building, so that this is hypertrophy, this is where you want to focus on training 4 to 5 times per week with an emphasis on progressive overload, again, higher volume and controlled tempo. And this is where you want to incorporate compound movements for the strength aspect, the accessory work, so accessory moves for muscle balance, and then in isolation exercises for specific muscle development. So it's like a bicep curl is like an isolation. And then if third, you're just in it because you want to be strong, you want to be athletic and conditioned in your life, in a phase of your life, that's totally fine too, which is fun. I'm in that phase right now in this hybrid training method and I'm falling in love with it. It is so fun just to be able to see what your body's so capable of. With a hybrid training model, you are focused on combining like strength and conditioning. That's where you program 3 to 4 strength sessions throughout the week and 1 to 2 conditioning focused workouts. That could be HIIT style workout, it could be a circuit, it could be a run, a swim, a bike, something that gets your heart pumping. And this is where you want to keep the strength sessions focused on those compound lifts, and while conditioning enhances that endurance and explosiveness. So you're kind of taking care of both, but for sure in that those strength sessions are gonna help you run, help you swim, help you bike, and in those like more endurance like activities. Once you define your goal, it is very important to be very realistic with your lifestyle that you're living right now in the season of life you're coming into. Because if you you're extremely busy and you travel, you have kids, you do all this stuff, may not be the most realistic thing to have a 5-6 day training split. And it's totally possible to even have 2 to 3 days strength training and have a day of cardio if that's something you want to focus on. But be very, very honest with yourself on what you can take on during the season of life you're in. But there's also another side of it where we kind of got to tap into some discipline. If the goal is that important to you, and figure out what's your why for this goal, whether it be fat loss, muscle building, a hybrid training split, what is your true why and why do you want to achieve that outcome? And dig deep on that. And I've done a video in the past of like digging into your why. Why are you going into a certain goal? And it's not just always aesthetics for the vanity. There's certain reasons why we step into a different fitness phase in our life. Really get that under control, be realistic with yourself. You maybe tap into that discipline, make the time. You can always make the time to make things work for you and your lifestyle that you're in right now. So now that I got the basics out of the way, I do want to go into helping you understand the workout splits. I already talked about and touched on like, okay, for fat loss, muscle building, hybrid training, these are the things you want to focus on. I also mentioned compound movement. So what's a compound movement? Think of those as like a multi-joint exercise, and this actually works multiple muscle groups at a time. A squat, a deadlift, bench press. And you want to aim for, in general, 2 to 3 of these exercises in your workout, program that in. And for accessory movement, so an accessory movement, it supports the compound lift and targets that secondary muscle group. So think about, okay, you're going into Romanian deadlift or lunges, pull-ups, structuring 2 to 3 of those in your workout for the day. And then an isolation exercise. So planning in 1 to 2 of those in your workout. And this focuses on a single muscle group. So like bicep curls, lateral raises, leg curls. In my training experience and what I've looked into, what's really worked for me, I love working out, but I don't want to be in the gym for an hour and a half. Like, I love the gym atmosphere, but also I kind of want to get in and out, right? So I program mine to be anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes or less and really get in, do the work, and get out. Generally, what I recommend for my people and clients, but my just standards I hold for myself, 5, maybe 6 exercises that you're focusing on to plan into that actual like workout. Use the breakdown, 2 to 3 compounds, 2 to 3 accessory, 1 to 2 isolation. You got to think about what we talked about in the beginning of the video. What's your end goal? Like if you're hybrid training, you're not going to be doing a bunch of isolation exercises. You're probably going to be more compound movement and more accessory work to support those explosive muscles that you use in your endurance training days and getting your heart rate up. Let's move into fat loss and body recomposition. You have a goal of maintaining muscle while burning fat throughout the process through strength training and a slight calorie deficit. You want to focus on either like a full body or an upper lower split with strength training. Adding some metabolic finishers, so like a little HIIT or a little like sled pushes, any mini circuit to the end of a workout or 2 during the week can actually be very helpful to kind of just get that heart rate up at the end of the workout. So you'll see down below that I do have a freebie of different workout splits that you could utilize as like a foundation and see if they work for you. I did that to help you out. I won't go really in depth to those on the video because you can get the freebie by clicking the link in the description right there, and then you have it for yourself and as a good guide to kind of work off of. Now this isn't specific to you, so you have to remember that as well, but I hope that it can help you kind of kick off your fitness journey. And the example split is 4 days per week, optional 5th day if you have that availability to you, but 4 days per week, an upper lower split. So day 1's lower body, day 2's upper body, day 4 is full body strength and a little bit of metabolic work, and day 5 is an optional like conditioning. Day 3, I skipped over that. That's just rest and recovery, and the other days are also rest and recovery. So stretch, do a light walk, keep your steps up. That's what you want to focus on in a fat loss journey. Now moving into a muscle building split. For a muscle building split, the goal is to maximize hypertrophy, muscle growth. That's what hypertrophy means. And this is done by really focusing on that progressive overload and optimizing recovery. So the focus is more volume per muscle group, and this split is into different muscle specific training days. An example split like that I have in the guide below. Day 1, lower body, that's glutes and hamstrings focus. So we're more focused on the back of the leg into the glutes. And then day 2 is upper body. So that's a push workout, and that's focused on your chest, shoulders, and triceps. Day 3 is lower body, quads, and glute focus. So that's more the front of your thigh, and then of course your glutes in the back. And then your upper body, a pull day, so back and biceps. That's very standard. Day 5 and 6 is an optional, like if you really have a weak point of your shoulders, let's say, you might want to do a few shoulder exercises that day or a full body workout, but I would just say really stick with this split. And if you find that your hips need a little TLC on that day 5 or 6, maybe some bands could really work on that day, but we don't want to get to the overtrain. And I do want to mention here, if you need to use dumbbells, these ones are focused on like a compound lift. Like if you have access to a barbell in the workouts, great, like use that. But if you can use, I know some people like just your body, like the way your body's built, is that sometimes the dumbbells work better. So I've used dumbbells for my training just because of accessibility, but also I love dumbbells and the fact that they're they're multifunctional, like you can use them for a lot of things. So you can also look up how to do bench press with a dumbbell, and it's just basically like a bench press, but it's with 2 dumbbells instead of 1 bar. So you can always look that up too with that free guide down below if you need to make adjustments if you only have dumbbells at home. Okay, and then this is a very exciting one. Again, I am in this phase of my journey of like just hybrid training. I want to see what I'm capable of. It's fun. Like, let's go for it. So with hybrid training, the goal is to improve strength, endurance, and athleticism. So getting more fit basically is what most people know, with a mix of strength training and conditioning. And the focus of this is you want to have a combination of lifting heavy, but it's not like you're doing 1 rep max, but like challenge yourself, like lift heavy and then the metabolic conditioning. So again, in the guide below, what I have is like an example split of like 4 to 5 days per week. Day 1 is strength focus, so lower body focus, and you got some compounds, accessories in there. And then day 2 is a strength focus again, upper body. And then you could do some endurance work. So like on your upper body days, if you need to plan in your run without doing that an extra day. Sometimes with the upper body day, if you have like an easy run planned, you could do that with the upper body if time allows. But these should not take longer than like 30 minutes if you get in, get out with the strength workouts. Day 3, active recovery. So that mobility, which is really going to be really nice for your joints, keep them mobile and keep them feeling really healthy. And then day 4 is a full body strength and conditioning. So deadlifts, push press, kettlebells, sled pushes. That's kind of like a full body strength and conditioning. And day 5 is like that cardio or a sport specific training. So like if you want to do the rower or sprints, like if you're just kind of in it just for overall fitness, you're not going for a specific race or something, yeah, like do something you enjoy. Even if it's laps in a pool, like you could do that as like that day 5. And then the other days they're recovery days. So stretch, get movement in, make sure your muscles, the lactic acid doesn't like build up. So move around, make sure you do that. That wraps up the video. The other thing I really want you guys to understand about this workout split is the fact that you need to track your progress. Like that is a non-negotiable for myself. We have a hard time seeing how are you progressing. If you don't have the data, how do you know if you're progressing? So whether that be even using like a Google Sheets, using an Excel, track your workouts, track what you're lifting so you can focus on the progressive overload. Progressive overload is going to be key really in any of these phases to increase the weights, reps, or intensity over time. And I didn't mention in the video on each of these phases of like for fat loss and the body recomp, anywhere from like an 8 to a 12-week period can be very appropriate for that. You want to give yourself enough time to see that change happen. Usually 12 weeks, so that is 3 months of consistency, day in, day out, focus on the progressive overload. And then it's not like you're in a fat loss phase forever. So you could keep the same workout split if you're going into more like a muscle growth after the deficit and you're focused on building your calories back up and reversing that way, and then you want to go into a muscle growth, really build into a build phase, then you would swap the like reps and intensities for those workouts and focus on that in the next phase. And sometimes once you're done with that phase, it's just kind of back to like you want to work your way back to maintenance after like a fat loss journey, you can just live your life too. Like you can go into this hybrid training model, which is again so fun. I'm hyping it up because like I'm learning through this process of like myself going through it. I'm going into week 3, like a legit hybrid training split. I've dabbled in it for quite a while, but then I just decided I have a 10K race coming up, so I'm like, perfect timing. Let's do this. Let's just focus on what we can do and like just really nourish body. And during this time, really supporting my body's needs with enough. So like eating at maintenance is really important, like during hybrid training split, because it's not like I'm in it for like the aesthetic. I'm in it for the performance, the what can I do? What am I capable of? And so I really want to fuel well for that. And working my way up to maintenance is something like calories and macros and that kind of thing is really important too, to support your body's recovery and needs. And as far as recovery goes, just naturally going into that, so your recovery matters in every single phase. Your muscles grow when you rest. So you break them down during the workout, you break them down during your training. So you need to prioritize rest. Overtraining is very common, especially in the female population. You tell us to do something, do a 4-day training split, you're like, why not do 7? Because more must be better. Not always, ladies. When you are training, I need you to focus on recovery. So that stretch, get your sleep as best as you can. I know different lives like differ and that kind of thing, but sleep is going to be where the recovery happens, where your cortisol is regulated, where your brain repairs, and that's where the growth happens. Also in the kitchen, of course, like yes, like fueling your body with correct macronutrients, protein, carbs, and fats for your body. Eating enough protein during each of these phases, because that's really gonna help with the muscle repair, muscle growth, your hormones. And then, yeah, so take recovery days. If you get to a certain point in your training, like you're 5 weeks in and you're like, wow, I have to hit a lower body day today, but I am just so drained and fatigued. It might be a good time to listen to your body and get right after that, shift your week a little bit, get right after that lower body the next day. So it's all about this ebb and flow in life, but also teaching yourself the discipline to stay consistent during any phase of your fitness journey. So I really hope this video helped you out understand how to create a workout split, and hopefully the free guide down below in the description will give you a good idea of where to start and just utilize those things for the best of your ability. Also, I forgot to add in that I actually have a workshop that I linked down below. It's just me explaining kind of my viewpoint on like foundations for fat loss for women, for busy women. So practical strategies that you can utilize if you're to the point where you're feeling sluggish, tired, clothes aren't fitting, you just feel meh, and you're like ready to go into a fat loss journey. Maybe you're eating very low calories. Maybe you don't even know what you're consuming. Start with this fat loss workshop because it gives you foundations for sleep, stress management, nutrition. I talk about macros in there and my approach to like how I view like the process of a fat loss journey for individuals, for women, and then exercise and a bonus little addition of hormones and how muscle building and focusing on like idealizing your body composition in the correct way, the safe way, sustainable way, can really help improve hormonal health in the long run. So drop a comment below with your goals, and I would love to see it, love to share, want to create a very supportive community of women, like-minded women, focus on strength, nourishment, whatever phase of fitness you are in. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more strength and nutrition tips. But so happy you're here, so happy you watched this video, and stay strong, stay nourished, and I'll see you in the next one.